Okay. This is Colin Thompson interviewing Jacqueline Thompson on December the 17th. So, to start with, can you tell me your full name
Jacqueline Thompson,
and your date of birth?
December 1st, 1977.
So, I understand that you, during the War on Terror, you sent a care package out to a soldier. How did that work? How does sending mail to soldiers work?
I well, I went to the post office and they had special boxes that you would purchase, and I think that it was designated like for a flat rate. You had to do a customs declaration, and then you would ship it to the base over there.
So, do you remember when exactly you sent packages?
Yeah, it was when my brother was over in Iraq, and then again when he was deployed over to Afghanistan. It was the around 2009 time period.
So was it just those two, or did you send other ones?
I actually do think I sent a package over when he was at the hospital in Germany as well.
Okay. So, could you tell me a little bit about who you sent them to?
My brother,
What
he
was
was
his name and rank?
Daniel Parker. He was, I believe he was corporal at that time, in the Marines, out of Camp
Okay.
Lejeune.
So, what were some of the costs involved in sending packages?
They actually turned out to be pretty costly. A lot of the items were things that could last for a while. They were preserved. I do remember like beef jerky. There were small clothing items like socks that was kind of in high demand, and gosh, one at one point I sent a lot of DVDs over. I knew he had his laptop there, so it was a personal collection of DVDs, quite extensive. So outside of their cases, sent them over for to try to mix it up with some entertainment. But I would say on average, I would spend about $75 to $100.
Okay. So, you mentioned like beef jerky. What are some other kinds of food that you had sent?
Oh, it's been a while. I remember the beef jerky probably because it was so expensive. You would want to send like non-perishable drinks. Gosh, I'm trying to. I don't remember. I just remember the beef jerky the most.
Okay. So, in these packages, did you include letters as well?
Yes,
Did you handwrite them? Did you type them?
handwritten.
Handwritten? What were some of the? Was it like sentimental stuff? What sort of
Yeah,
stuff did you put in the
kind
letters?
of encouraging. Nothing that was too detailed. Nothing problematic, to say that there were negative things happening. More of encouragement type things
Encouragement for the soldier.
for the soldier and with the efforts in general, and to kind of express a attitude of gratitude and just love.
So, do you presumably you knew the soldier received them. How did they respond to them, or did they have the opportunity to?
when when he was over in Iraq, we'd hear from him more regularly, and he would have times where he would be able to, make phone calls. So, he would call and he would acknowledge that he had received things, and of course, we'd have personal conversations. Now, over in Afghanistan, it was quite a while. He was over in Helmand Province, and it was a pretty pretty bad time for them over there. So we didn't hear from him as frequently. But I do recall, there was an acknowledgement, whether it was to me or to like my mom, whoever he was able to kind of break in and call, that they had been received and that they were very much appreciated.
Did he highlight any specific parts of the packages that were particularly maybe useful or valuable?
What I remember him talking about was one of the mix CDs that was popular during the time. And my memory was about that he thought it was really cool, some of the rock music that was on there. But what I've heard since then, that something that was more memorable to him was something totally different.
What did you hear that he had particularly enjoyed?
An energy drink.
An energy drink?
That's what I heard. But that's not something that ever really, stood out to me, and I don't even remember that.
So, did you ever send packages to anyone else or just him?
Just to him, but I do know that a lot of the items were, enough to be shared. So, I wanted to make sure that other people in his unit, would have things with that package as well.
Okay. And at the time period, there were a lot of organizations that part of their job was actually sort of as a community pooling resources to send things. Were you did you participate in any of those? Were you aware of any particular ones?
No, not that I can recall. But I know I definitely wasn't part of anything like that.
Okay. So, say a relative or family member was currently serving, what would you, knowing what you do from previous experience, what would you send nowadays?
I would probably send kind of similar items, probably a little bit better quality because, I can afford a little bit better now. But I would say because of technology that I would probably, put more emphasis on, whether it be like an iPod or, something, whatever, what is on their kind of approved list of items that they could have and be authorized to use. But the same type of non-perishable type items. And then on top of it, some of it was based on feedback of things that were said that were needed. So I would probably go with, making sure I checked off things on that list.
What were some of the things that were specifically highlighted as needed?
I remember the socks was something that was definitely needed. And I want to say that the drinks in general, something other than what they would normally get.
Okay. So is there any sort of interesting anecdotes about this that you have that you would like to share?
Um, I can just say from my experience, it was a feeling of helplessness during that time, and our family had just went through a very significant loss within the past couple years, and that just in general sending out the care packages made me feel like I was doing something, that I was part of it. I worried about him a lot, his safety, but also that how he was doing with around other people and how were they treating him. And I felt like that by sending the care packages, that I was not only meeting his needs, that I wanted to, kind of create a friendship, because he had something to offer, the rest of the guys there. So it made me feel like I was doing something in a situation that you were essentially, feeling helpless in.
What were the particular circumstances that led you to feel that this was your only way to sort of help?
Because he was, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. He's just kind of out there on his own. He signed up in high school, not after, but in high school. And he left immediately after, within days. He was not even able to attend an important funeral. So, yeah, he was just a kid. So.
You said he joined up while he was still in high school. What was the inspiration, I suppose, for that?
He always idolized the military in general. At one point it seemed like it was Army, but I think that his aunt's husband, Wilbur, actually helped influence him to go into the Marines. But, I mean, there's pictures of him as a child with Army surplus gear on, and, he kind of collected those things. So I do believe it was something that he had always dreamed of doing.
So, do you have any idea why he seemingly so suddenly joined there?
The recruiters actually had to come to my mom's home, and she had to sign for him to be able to sign up while he was still in high school. And at that point, he was obligated. He, I do know that he was supposed to have a slightly higher rank, I guess, than the bottom level. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know their policies, and I don't know their ranks, but I do know that he was gonna start a little one notch up.
Okay. So, is there anything else you wanted to discuss that hasn't been covered, or that you feel would be helpful to?
I think now there's a lot more information out there than there was when we were sending these things. So I remember having talks with my mom about, what should we send and what does he need. Now there's a lot more information out there about those type of things. And also I think that if there's support groups and things like that, they're definitely would be helpful in that, because you always kind of waited to see how the feedback was, like, okay, how did it arrive and how did it go over. But yeah.
So, would you say that the advancement of technology is helping or hindering these sorts of care package efforts?
Oh, that's a great question, because my natural inclination would be to say it would help, but no, maybe not. Because of technology, you're probably able to communicate with people much easier. Because video messaging, video calls, things like that, it's so commonplace now. So I don't know that those care packages would be quite as important. I mean, nowadays, probably just cash app someone and say, oh, well, buy what you need. So that was an excellent question, actually.
Well, unless there's anything else that you wanted to talk about, that was all the questions that I had prepared.
Okay.
But the floor is open if you have anything else.
I think I'm good.
Okay.